Welcome into How to Handle Your Paychecks. My name's Jedediah Collins, 7-year NFL veteran. Today I am a certified financial planner. But why we're talking is because I set out on a passion, wrote a book called Your Money Vehicle that walks through the first 10 questions of your financial journey. Why? Well, because in the NFL, I was lost, just like you. I had no idea what to do with my first paychecks, and because of that, I blew it. I spent them and they went away immediately. But I went and I started to educate myself. I started to learn this language of the wealthy and how to use money. Why this course is so necessary today is because we are going through a financial evolution, one in which you have to sit down in the driver's seat of your money vehicle. We title it very specifically because this is your vehicle, not mine, not your parents, not your friends. This is yours. And money is a vehicle. It is a verb and a tool that is going to take you to a destination. Money should no longer be your destination. It is the vehicle that will take you there. So today's objective is to empower you with this money bucket system, a cash management that will give you the 5 choices and directions of where every dollar you make should go. That is our goal today. But I need you to be part of the minority. Only 10% of people actually write down goals. If you were to do me a favor, get out a pen and paper. Set some financial goals for yourself. Not financial freedom, $1 million, but what can you do this week or this month or perhaps this year? Setting those intentions will give you and almost improve your odds of success. So today, let's dive into how to employ your dollars with the Money Bucket system. Let's go check it out. The Money Bucket system is built around 5 choices you're going to have with every dollar you make. Doesn't matter if you're Jeff Bezos, the wealthiest man in the world, or getting your first paycheck tomorrow. You have the same 5 choices, and we want to set up a system, perhaps even automate some of it, to give percentages to each of those choices and empower you to make sure you are employing every dollar. The 5 choices are society, past, present, future, and landing in the compassion choice. We're going to do a little time traveling and define exactly what goes into each one of these buckets and how you should empower yourself to use them. Okay, so we've landed in the society choice. Go ahead and look outside. See all the things our taxes are affording you. Now, the first reaction everybody has with taxes is negative. I want you to spin that mindset. Taxes are an amazing part of our country and organization. You get to vote on how taxes are spent, but when you look at them, don't have a negative reaction. See all the positive things that taxes allow us to enjoy. Now, when we look at taxes, the first one I want to introduce you to is the income tax. This is the understanding between gross income and net income. What I thought I make versus what I actually take. This understanding is one of the mistakes people make in their first paychecks. They have a $50,000 salary, but they don't take home $50,000. Between this, you have to remove parts of and pay into our society and tax system. Those choices are going to be around income taxes. The big 3 in income taxes are your federal, the United States, the state you live in, for me, Washington, and then even cities. Major cities have city income taxes. You have to look at where you live from a state and city and find out how much income tax you will actually owe. But as I look at those 3, those are going to be the biggest chunks taken out. And then I run into this little word called FICA. Now, FICA was one of my favorite things to do is watch a rookie in the NFL open their first paycheck and ask, who is FICA? Well, FICA is part of those society programs. When you look at Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, even unemployment, that through the coronavirus, how many people were dependent on unemployment? All of those are going to be contributed and accounted for through that FICA tax. So you need to recognize it's not what I make, it's what I take. Gross versus net. That is crucial. And then you start to say, well, how are they going to figure out what to take out? This is where files and documents are going to be had. So as I go to a traditional job, I'm working at a company, the first day I'm going to be handed a W-4. This W-4 has been simplified in the recent years to where you don't have to worry about allowances and all these kinds of elections. All they want to know is your name, your social security number, how you're going to file, and then if you have any dependents. Now, let's say you don't work at a traditional company. Maybe you're a solo entrepreneur or working as an independent contractor. Well, if I'm working as an independent contractor, I'm going to get a W-9 form, not a W-4, a W-9. But they're going to ask a very similar set of questions, even less. And I'm going to talk about that here, why, in a second. So I fill out a W-4 or a W-9. Then come tax time, the company is going to send me a document. If I work for a traditional company, W-4, they're going to send back a W-2. If I work for myself and have a W-9, I'm going to be sent a 1099 MIS, miscellaneous. So that document is not going to have any withholdings or deductions because I don't work for that company. They don't withhold any of my taxes. If I am an entrepreneur or an independent contractor, I have to be responsible for my taxes. I have to make sure to withhold those and protect those on my own. So now that I see the documents and forms I'm going to file to lead up to the overall summary of a 1040, we don't have all day to talk about that, but the big elections on your 1040, which is the year of money you made in all the other different kind of streams, just a summary of all those documents, that is going to be major selections on your part. Number one, how are you going to file? Are you going to be single? Do you have a spouse? Are you married filing jointly? I would guess most of us are going to be filing separate as a single taxpayer. Number two, are you going to be taking the itemized or the standard deduction? I would ask a couple questions. Do I have a $1 million mortgage that I'm paying interest on? Probably not. Am I going to be charitable and give away $15,000 to $20,000? Probably not. Am I going to have high medical expenses? Hopefully not. If those are all no, you're going to take the standard deduction. And it's pretty big, and they're clarifying this, and it changes every year, but they want to encourage people to take this because that is money that is not going to be taxed. That is a gift, standard deduction from the United States government. The third election is going to be, do you have any dependents? If you have children, then you get to claim them and get tax credits. Do you have a spouse? Same thing. So that is going to be the last question. These understandings, which documents, which elections you're going to make, is going to lead you into the difference between gross, what I make, and net, what I take. That is the first choice of society. And remember, society is pretty good. Whoa, I think we traveled into the past. So these are our past choices. These are items that we made maybe last month, even last year, that we're going to have to pay for this month. If you were to get an easy definition of what a past choice is, it'd be anything due before the month even begins. If I'm coming up on January 1st and money was already going to be spent that month on other things, those are all past choices. Typically, we're going to relate those to debts, bills, and subscriptions. When I look at debts, these are any type of loan I have taken out. I want to prioritize which I am paying off, but I want to make sure they are all being taken care of. When I look at my bills, this might be one that I get to review and see, hey, which ones am I paying too much for? Can I get some comparative prices? Or even when I look at subscriptions, one thing marketers know about younger generations is they don't want to buy, but they'll rent anything. I guarantee you, if you look at your bank accounts, you will see a subscription for $1.99, $4.99, $10.99 a month that begin to add up that you kind of just forget about. So my challenge to you is to review your past choices and start to look at which ones you are using and which ones you are not, and seeing if you can cut one of those subscriptions. But as we begin to look at the first mistake people make around past choices, we have to be introduced to the credit trap. Let's go see the credit card game.
Welcome into What You Gonna Do. Today is the credit game. So the scenario of the day is you're gonna furnish your apartment with $3,000. Let me say that again. $3,000. But to do so, you have 3 different roads to take to get there. We're gonna look through them in door number 1, 2, and 3. Door number 1, you decide to pay half in cash and half on your credit card. Every month you're going to pay down a chunk or 10% of that credit card. Door number 2, you decided to pay everything, all $3,000 on that credit card. But then right before the end of the month, you pay for it off with your debit card. Last but certainly not least, door number 3. You decide to put the whole thing, all $3,000, on your credit card, and your credit company says you only owe the minimum amount due, or $60. So, which one do you choose, and what you gonna do? Welcome back into What You Gonna Do. Remember, here we don't really care which one you chose, but we want to find out who fell into the credit trap. So, looking past door number 1, you ended up paying off this $3,000 apartment in 4 years, and it cost you $500 in interest. Grand total of $3,500. Door number 2, well, this one is paid off by the end of the month, so it took 0 months, and it ended up costing you a grand total of $3,000. Door number 3, this is where it gets tricky. It's going to take you a grand total of 27 years to pay this one off. It's going to cost you an extra $6,000, totaling to a $9,000 apartment. So, ding ding ding, if you were tracking at home, door number 1 and 3 fell into the credit trap, where the apartment ended up costing more than they originally thought.
I hope you enjoyed the game show, but I really hope you saw the minimum amount due, MAD, should make you mad. This is the first mistake most Americans make with using their paychecks. They have too much money on their credit cards, and they don't understand that 20+% interest is crippling them. All that being said, I do want to encourage you, as one of your action items is to go open a credit card. Now, you don't have to go get one with an annual fee or one that's going to be used a bunch, but there are 3 methods to opening a credit card for young people. My parents can add me as an authorized user on their credit cards, building my credit. I can go get a secured credit card, where I put a set amount of money into a bank account, and then I get to act as if it was a credit card, building my credit. Or the third one would be finding a retail store that I enjoy, that I know how much I'm going to spend. Because the last thing I want to tell you about credit cards is you should treat your credit like a debit card, which means if there's not money sitting in the bank, you should not be using your credit card. So I want to encourage you to open your first credit card to begin your credit history, get you to use it wisely. And if you want to start to look at interest rates and which cards are out there, a great website called bankrate.com will lead you in the right direction. But remember, MAD makes you mad. Treat your credit like a debit. Okay, so this is today. We all recognize this, and it's around your present day choices. Don't worry, I'm not going to say stop spending so much money. But I do want you to begin to be conscious about where your money is going. This is a great exercise. Even printing out your bank statement and starting to categorize how much and where you are spending. A lot of you will be surprised the percentage that is falling into your present day choices. An example I love to give is called the latte example, where a simple $5 choice added up over 30 years can either be $54,000 of, let's say, coffee, or it could be $300,000 of your freedom. Let's start to be conscious around making those decisions. And as we start to, you realize I need a teammate. I need help in systemizing those decisions. That's going to be where a bank and a banker comes in. Can you set up a checking today account and a savings tomorrow account? They both have specific resources and tools designed to help you, and I want to give you the first 3 rules you're going to have with that today and tomorrow account. Get ready to giggle? Let's go check out the rules.
Welcome into your banking rules. Oh yeah. For your today account, rule number 1, never go below 0. It seems easy. But then for your tomorrow account, you have only a limited amount of times to pull money out. So be sure to check it. Oh! Banking rule number 2. You need to get an account with 0 fees. Oh yeah, 0 means 0. What you're gonna do for rule 3 is build up this tomorrow account. First and foremost is an emergency fund. That burn rate, burn we've been talking about, you gotta protect. And then you get to save up for the fun times. Woo, yeah.
What'd you think of the wrestler? He helps you understand today versus tomorrow accounts and how to use both of those. And as we look at our present day choices, my challenge to you is twofold. Number 1, find a present choice that you get joy and love doing. Increase that decision. Find something that you don't enjoy or don't get that much use out of anymore. Decrease. Conscious increase and decrease. The second challenge is kind of a trick on what you can do with your present day choices. Anytime you see something you want to buy, go ahead and look at your checking and saving today and tomorrow accounts. Transfer money from that today account to your tomorrow account. At the end of the month, go back and review your goals. Do you want to buy that thing still? Or has your goal you wrote down earlier become your priority and you've automatically saved for future you? Speaking of, let's go to our next choice. All right, this must be the future. And this is future you. This is that person you have to start being concerned with, because if you aren't, who is? A lot of people are saying, I don't have time, I can't do it. You ask anybody around their financial journey what the one thing they wish they did is they wish they started earlier. Why? Because it introduces us to the 8th wonder of the world, deemed by Albert Einstein, compound interest. He understood the magnificent advantage you have because of one key ingredient. You want to see what that formula looks like and how you can start to weigh the time value of money? Let's look at the equation real quick. Now let me give you an equation. The time value of money equation is your future value equals present value times 1 plus r exponential to the n. I don't think you need to understand that, and I know some of you just fell asleep. But what I want you to focus on in that equation and that formula is one thing. That little n up on the corner. That n signifies time, and that is something you can control. That's why we're starting today. How many n periods you can add to your formula will exponentially increase your returns. So now that you saw that formula, the greatest asset every investor has is time. Remember, you can't save $1 million. You invest and create $1 million. My challenge would be to go find a compound interest calculator online. I've used one at moneychimp.com that is phenomenal, and start to play around with how long you have to invest and how much you think you can contribute on a monthly or yearly basis. Now, what are you going to contribute into and start to invest? That's the introduction to stocks and bonds. What I want you to understand is bonds are debt and stocks are equity. When I give a bond, that means I am loaning my money and somebody is going to pay me for that money. When I get a stock, I am no longer loaning that money. I am buying a piece or a share of that company. Now I am a part owner. The risk potential, bonds are lower, stocks are higher, but that teaches us that the return potential of stocks or bonds is lower and stocks is going to be higher. That risk return is correlated. So now you see why with compound interest you have to prioritize future you, because if you don't, nobody else will. This is your money vehicle after all. And now you start to get introduced to stocks and bonds. Want to know how to buy those? Well, we don't have time today. You're going to have to go through the course. Let's go check out our last choice. The compassion choice. This is the give bucket. This is the one where we take some of that hard-earned money and we choose to give it to something or someone in need. Well, this is going to be what science is telling us the happy and most fulfilling bucket. Even the Dalai Lama has gone so far to say, if you want to be happier, practice compassion. If you want others to be happier, practice compassion. We want you to know, I don't want you to give all your money away, but you do have 3 ways to fill this choice. You have your time, your talent, and your treasures. So as you look at those 3 different avenues to fill your compassion choice, now start to look at who or what you want to impact. Find a person you want to support. Find an institution that is perhaps given to you that you want to give back to, or find a cause that you connect to and relate to. One of those things is going to fill this compassion choice for you. And if you're saying, well, I want to buy my friend a birthday present, I would put that in the compassion choice too. So we understand the 5 choices, the money bucket system. Let's see how it works. First, you're going to pay yourself first. Take a dime, put it into that future bucket. I made $1, I saved a dime. I made $1, I saved a dime. Third time, because people remember it, I made $1, I saved a dime. That might be the most important. Second, you're going to take a quarter, give it to society. Remember all those things it provides? Then we're going to target our past choices, debts, bills, anything due before. That's going to be 3 dimes or 30%. Then a penny for your thoughts, that compassion jar. I understand you don't have a lot yet. Fill it up with 1%. What's beautiful about this? The rest you get to spend, go to the mall, go wherever you want, and enjoy today. Take a moment. Maybe you need to go back and watch those percentages one more time. That is the beauty of the money bucket system, the simplicity in now having a percentage of what falls into each one of those choices. But now that you understand psychologically how the system, how you are going to start to take ownership of your paycheck, I want to give you some action items. Education is a key, vital first step. But without empowerment, without you having the confidence to go and act, it is all a moot point. So let's look at some of those action steps. And we're going to give you 5 of them, 1 for each bucket and each choice. As you saw, we reorganized to prioritize. So we're going to begin by paying your future self first. I made $1, I saved a dime. 10% goes to future you. If you aren't worried about that person, nobody is. Then you look at that society choice. Is it 25%? Well, you have to understand that is going to be personalized. You get to choose how much is going in there. And then if it is not 25 and you have some percentages left over, you get to choose where else you want those to go. So as you look at your action item around society, this is going to be electing those W4 or W9 choices. Dependent, filing status, what kind of deduction. Now you understand. Go choose them. The third action is going to be around treating your credit card like a debit card. Automating this payment. No falling into the credit trap. No getting mad around the minimum amount due. But setting up an automation to pay your credit card off each and every month. The fourth choice is going to be around that compassion. I challenge you, give me a penny for your thoughts. That 1%. Who, where, or what is it going to go to support? Last but not least, as you look at that present choice, where you get to fill in and actually go spend your money freely and guilt-free, that is going to be setting up your today checking account and your tomorrow savings account. You can even start to automate between the two of those and setting up some of your bills and things like that. But getting that foundation with a today and a tomorrow account is going to solidify your understanding around the present day choices. This has been an overview of the Money Bucket system, how to use your first paycheck, how to understand, strategize, and be efficient with your money. Remember, if you treat your money like an employee, it goes to work for you. Showing where it is supposed to go is the first step in owning your future. If you want to know why to open a Roth account, come back and we'll watch it through the Money Vehicle course. Enjoy the day.